Welcome back. I'm excited to share this third video with you as we continue to discuss the 3 keys to increase your ROI with your office design. So let's recap. In the first video, we built the foundation. We were focused on the function of the office and ideas how to maximize space and flow. That's key number 1. In the second video, key number 2, we learned why the intentional design of your space can dramatically aid in attracting and retaining your ideal patient, and it's your most valuable marketing asset. I hope by now you understand what a quality office environment is and why it will increase your revenue. But now, how do you get there? How do you achieve the office you dream about? How do you go from dream to open for business? With this big undertaking, how do you know you're making the best decisions possible, and how do you avoid costly mistakes? Now, in this third video, we're going to focus on these very questions. The last of the 3 keys is saving time and money. And we're going to discuss having a clear path and not being overwhelmed so you're spending your time and money wisely. The focus of saving time and money is understanding that every decision you make is important to the efficiency and effectiveness of your office environment. And we know that you want to make the right decisions without wasting time and money, as we've said before. So in that first course at Life University in 2010, we not only taught on how the environment impacts your success, but we also taught several hours on understanding the process. And in 2011, the first free e-booklet I created was the 5 biggest mistakes when opening an office. So let's look at those mistakes. Over the course of time working with doctors, we've consistently seen these 5 big mistakes. Let's start at the bottom. Number 5, not having the support system that you need. So consistently, we've seen that the better the support system, the more successful the process of building an office is, and the more successful the practice becomes. Number 4 is not marketing enough to secure new patients. So now that you have this beautiful office, where are all the patients? So time is limited. So what you will focus on, your time on, is important. And are you spending time doing what only you can do and using resources for the things others can do? So we've seen new practices open with no patients because they were too busy painting the walls instead of marketing. Number 3, not designing with the future in mind. As we discussed in video number 1, you're going to want to understand how much space you need for immediate and those 5 years, and when your growth matches your business plan. And you need to understand the compromises, just like we looked at with Dr. Cara. And number 4 is not having a realistic budget. So is your budget based on facts? Another situation we often find is that the chiropractor's budget is based on what another colleague told them that they spent on their space. So unless the conditions are identical and in the same exact economy, this is just data, and it's usually not accurate, unfortunately. But what we're really going to focus on today is the number 1 mistake is not understanding the process and the time required. As the process of opening your office, it's not something you're going to do very often. So you shouldn't invest a great deal of time and money learning everything there is to know. But we do believe you need to become an educated consumer because we know that this will save you time, money, and a huge headache. So this video is to focus on the basics you need to know about the process and timing for your project. So let's start. The first thing you need to understand is that opening an office is an event. So when I'm in classrooms, I ask the students to raise their hands and tell me who's ever created an event. So right now, think about, have you ever created an event? So here's a couple of examples. Someone setting up a seminar or speaking engagement, or creating a wedding, which I happened to be doing in 2010 when I created this course, was helping my daughter get married. So with that, think about an event. So an event has a beginning and it has an end. That's what makes it an event. Your business will run on forever. But in an event, there are processes and things you need to know to get the whole thing created. So I'm going to use a wedding, for example. So in a wedding, there are different categories of things that need to be taken into consideration. And how those categories are approached and how they're connected to each other sequentially will give you a quality, unstressful process to get to the end of your goal. So because I was working on a wedding, I actually used the wedding planner checklist to use as a guide for how do wedding planner checklists help someone get through the process of a wedding? How can I do that to help these chiropractors who don't need to plan a wedding every day and don't need to open an office every day get through that process? So if you think about it, just in the wedding alone, there's a venue, but you don't know the venue till you know the number of people. So then you have the guest list is a category. And then the other one is your wedding party is a category. And then of course your food is a category. And you can see how all of those things are connected and have to make made decision. That's what it's like opening an office. That's what it's like planning an event. So let's go and dig into it. So the first thing you need to do to open an office is you need your dreams to become more vision, to have some legs, and then you need to end up with goals, which are literally a list of things to do. They're SMART goals. You've heard of that before: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So did you know? So our challenge is you don't know all the tasks and the goals, the timing to get there. And do you even know where to start on the path? Most doctors don't really understand it. Like I said, that's why we taught it in these courses. But why should you? It's not your business, and you're not going to need to learn it all. You're only going to be involved in this process once every 7 years anyway. So you just need to know the big picture. But let me tell you what we know. There are at least 3,000 decisions that need to be made when building out an office. All of those little things that are connected together to make those decisions and how they impact each other. Do you know all the decisions you will need to make? Not only that, but we also know there's a critical sequence and timing of those decisions to produce effective results. So if you don't make the decisions within the proper time, it's going to delay something else happening. And it can cause delays, problems, inaccuracies, all types of things. So there is a very exact planning and critical sequence and timing. So you don't need to know it all. I'm working to teach you the key items so that you have the roadmap to that success. And here's our roadmap. This is a Gantt chart. It's consistently used in design and construction, if you've ever seen one. Down the right-hand side is a list of all those tasks and categories, and tasks that are summarized under categories. Across the top is a timeline, and the bars represent the beginning and the end of each task, visually showing how these tasks are per category, are all layered on top of each other, and how they're all connected. But this is way too complicated to teach you. So back in 2010, at that class at Life University, we developed a simplified version. We simplified the categories into 7. Think of them as subject buckets. So those categories that consist of dream to goal, business plan, location, leasing and negotiation, facility development and design, permits and other approvals, construction, and specialty items. And we simplified the Gantt chart. So we call this our 5-phase timeline. Down the right-hand side are the 7 categories with a few subcategories. Across the top is the timeline, and it's divided into 5 distinct phases of your journey. The first phase is the vision phase. The second phase is the definement phase. Then we have the search and find phase. Then we have the design phase. And lastly, the implement phase. So let's talk about these phases a little more in depth. So let's start with your goal for your opening date. And you can see that our chart starts 18 months out. So that was the first thing that was a surprise for most clients, is how long ahead do you really need to start planning this before you open? But starting 18 months out is the vision phase, and it can typically last 6 months. So remember, this is the phase that you're really trying to understand what you want in your practice. So my assumption is that most of you are there or have finished that, or you wouldn't be coming here to me. But some of you may just be starting out. So this is a phase that you really need to get clear on how you want your practice to run, what you want to be. You're doing research. You're just trying to get clear before you're able to actually put put the details into some kind of document. But then about 12 months out, that's when you start the definement phase. And that's where those details need to get documented. You need to create a business plan. It usually lasts about 3 months, and it focuses on research and planning. So once again, it's clearly define your practice. That's why we call it definement phase. We made up that word, yes. And that business plan will result from that. Once your business plan is complete, ideally about 9 months from opening, you will start the search and find phase. We say you're looking for space and you're looking for money. This phase historically takes 4 months, and most people don't understand that. Once you've secured your space, the design phase can begin. So not until you've secured your space should you start spending money on architecture and design fees. There's a little bit of fees in the end of the search and find phase that we'll talk about in a little bit called, well, you heard me talk about the space study test fit to figure out whether you can whether you can fit in the space accurately. It's kind of part of your due diligence to figure that out. But then once you've signed that lease, that's when you need to be able to start spending the money. So we say secured the space because you know the money and you know the space, and now you can start the design. And your activities should now include executing your business plan, marketing and management, hiring. And it should be, again, immediately, because as I said, that's one of the mistakes that you don't do. The design phase typically lasts about 4 months, and it includes both design and the permit process. Now, these timelines are based on a white box experience. Lastly is the implement phase. This is where construction begins, and your focus is to continue in marketing, management, and the lingering business items in preparing for opening. So one of the things I want to focus on is that this event down here, the facility development design and all that, it has an end. You can see it right here. It will stop, but your business plan will not. So this is the total process. We are not unique in laying out the business path to get to opening, but we've yet to see anyone and any material on how the design path overlaps the business plan. So how does design fit in to all of this? Because our doctors understand that a quality office environment will elevate their success, but they struggle with the complex details to get there, we developed our signature 6 steps to guide them through the facility development and design portion of from concept to completion. And so these are the steps only in the facility and design category of the 5-phase timeline. So this shows how our signature 6-step overlays on top of the 5-phase timeline, showing the phases each step is to be accomplished. So remember, each one of these bars and each one of these categories are a series of things to do. So I can't teach you all the things to do right now in this series, but I do have a resource for you, and that is free, and it is called our 5-phase goal setter checklist. And you can find it on our website if you didn't know. And it's going to lay out the focus of each phase per phase and all the tasks to do in each phase so you're not overwhelmed. And then we originally created it for our clients as part of our fee. So we know it's valued at $250 because that's what we charge them, but we're going to give it to you free. And some of you may have found us through this resource. As mentioned in video 1, we started out just to teach. Our website is full of resources. It started out as a blog, and we focused on educating you through the process because we want you to be successful, because we want more people to know and trust chiropractic. So as I said, we have blogs, which is where we started. We also have a special grouping of blogs that I mentioned earlier just on the planning of your office, and it'll review a lot of what I'm teaching in these videos, including the 5-phase timeline. And we also have case studies on our portfolio. So instead of just pretty pictures, if you really want to dig into it, you can learn the story and the business challenge they have and what was overcome in their design space. Also, we have 4 free downloadable resources to assist you. There's an easy link that can be found at the bottom of our homepage, and many of you found us through these free resources. They consist of things like the 5 biggest mistakes that we discussed earlier, along with the checklist we just talked about, and our top 15 free floor plans, and our 5-point designer checklist. So this is focused on evaluating your current office image. It's used a lot by doctors that are wanting to sell their practice, honestly. They're all focused on making you an educated consumer to save you time and money. So at this point, just with CrossFields alone, you have a resource to develop the roadmap you need. But would you like us to personally guide you through this process to keep you from feeling overwhelmed and fearful you'll make costly mistakes and avoid this state of option paralysis? And to instead have a roadmap and the tools so that you can successfully open a quality office confidently. So most of you already know that we provide complete interior architectural services. In these services, you're going to work one-on-one with the designer virtually to create a totally customized solution. These services can be all-inclusive to walk you through all 5 steps, and we use the signature 6 steps to go through that process. So it'll include space planning, full architecture, full interior design, construction, and permit drawings, and facility and process coaching and consulting, which is where we're unique. So what is the investment to this, if you're interested? So for about a 2,000 square foot space, our full service offering runs $20,000 to $40,000, depending on the level of detail. So the average client that's starting out spends about $25,000 for us to guide them all the way through the process and develop that customized solution to achieve that success. So some of you are at a point where you know that your time is worth hundreds of dollars per hour. So our full service is a valuable investment in your success, and it's the best use of your time at your level. But so many of you are not there yet. You're not there yet. But where are you now in this journey? Is this full service is over your budget right now, but you do see the value. So how do you get the quality office without hiring us for our full service or totally doing it on your own? I'm so excited to offer this course. I've been asked to teach it since a little after 2010. So we have this course to bridge the gap between our one-on-one service and you being totally on your own to struggle through the building of your quality office. So number 2 option is our Done With You product. You can now enroll in our new e-course, Office Design Bootcamp, and learn directly from me what you need to do to make your path direct and successful. If you want a high quality design without a hired designer, I'm hoping you say yes to option 2. So I'm personally inviting you to our Office Design Bootcamp. It's the only online course of its type. It's an ultimate learning experience for startups and new office builds. And I'll walk you step by step through the process so you don't have to stumble your way through it. I'm excited to say that I will teach you how to build your office from vision to success. With this course, you're going to go away from feeling overwhelmed and fearful you'll make costly mistakes to having the roadmap and tools to open a quality office confidently and successfully, knowing it will support your business goals and not hinder them. So here's what you'll put into action. You'll get clear on what you need for space in size, layout, flow, and image and branding, as well as knowing the best types of space for your practice. You'll feel confident as you move forward finding and developing your space because you understand so much more than most, and you have done the work to know your unique needs for your success. You're going to avoid overwhelm with a systematic step-by-step plan of what to focus on in each phase of the process. You're going to avoid losing money and time by understanding the process and the roles of the players. And successful completion will give you the knowledge and resources to save thousands in future architectural design and construction spend, time, and headaches. We're going to use our 5-phase timeline as our compass and our signature 6 steps within the 5-phase timeline. And I'll be using the Goal Setter Checklist as your foundational workbook and roadmap, but I'm also providing some other key tools and worksheets that are available only inside the course. So let's discuss what this course looks like as I will walk you through and go deeper in what you need to know as you take this journey to be successful. There are 5 teaching modules with 21 lessons. The total teaching time is about 8 hours. In each module, I'll give you a focus on the things to understand and watch for as you make this journey easier. So let's look deeper at the modules. We start with a welcome module, Nodulous Power, and will give you peace of mind. This module covers expectations and results, class goals, overview of the 5 modules. The next module is vision phase, and it's setting the foundation. We will fully develop and assure clarity of your vision and turn them into timely and measurably goals so you move confidently forward to achieve your quality office. Next is module 2. This is the definement phase. This is where we further define the parameters of your goal to make sure you have a viable business. With that, you can develop a great business and financial plan. It is definitely the meatiest module. Module 3 is the search and find phase. It's all about looking for space and looking for money. It's focused on the keys you need to know to be successful. Module 4 is the design phase. So now you've found a space and you found the money, so you know you can get open. But now, what is the process you need to know to have a successful office built? And what should you be focused on and what you should not? Because we see a lot of doctors get caught up in this phase. Module 5 is the implementation phase. Construction has started. And what are the keys you need to know so you're not overwhelmed in the process? And where should your focus be now as you prepare to open? So, what is my investment in this course? So let's figure out how much it's worth. If we started with our one-on-one, which we've been doing for years, we discussed that the average startup client is spending about $25,000 for full service design. So how much of that $25,000 can I teach you? Now, this course is not going to teach you to be an architectural designer. You still need an architect and an engineer to create the drawings, to have to get your office through permits and be constructed. So let's start with that. Let's look at where that comes out. So typically your local landlord architect will be able to get you what you need for permit for around $4 to $5 a square foot. And sometimes this is even included free in the landlord's offer. If you're looking at 2,000 square feet, then that fee will be about $8,000 to $10,000. You're going to need to spend that. That's part of the fee you're going to need to spend. And that'll cover architectural and engineering. But that's only a base fee. It's good enough for permit, but it's not good enough for your environment. It will not achieve for you the intentional quality office environment we've been discussing. They will do a fine job, but there's not enough in their fee to provide you all you really need in depth of image creation and consulting and knowledge and interior design. So also they don't know chiropractic, so they will be dependent on you to tell them what you need. You saw our examples in video 2 and how that turned out. So that's a big gap. How do you fill the gap? And I believe that's why I created this course, was to help bridge that gap. So how much would the gap cost me? Okay, to be clear, this course cannot teach you to be an interior architectural designer, but it'll give you confidence and clarity to know exactly what you need to achieve for that quality office and how to save that time and money. So let's start with what we would charge for these services within our one-on-one offering, because we do all of these things that I'm going to be teaching you, we do as part of our full service design. So the vision phase is not design, it's more like coaching. So let's say conservatively, it's worth $300 for an hour or 2 of a coach's time. The definement phase. This module is the meatiest module with 9 lessons and the most homework material. On the design side, it includes determining your vision and requirements for design, knowing how much space you really need and what it should look like to create your image and your culture. And our typical fee for this is $1,500. But I'm teaching you to do this all without us. So let's add $1,500. Plus, because it's so meaty, it's going to offer you additional guidance as to understanding your location and space, which we consult our clients through. Different type options impact your business plan and how that's developed through the phase. And all of that's invaluable. But let's just be conservative and just add a couple of hours of coaching for $600 for a total of $2,100 for the definement phase. The search and find phase covers looking for space and looking for money. This phase includes doing a space plan test fit. That's the study of potential spaces you have found, like I showed you with Dr. Cara. Plus, I'll also help you understand the negotiations and the process of negotiation. I'm not a real estate broker, but I do know our side of it. And I just looking at the design portion alone, I can't guarantee you're going to be a great space planner, but I do know you'll be able to create a viable layout that will give your architect a great starting point and ideally save you fees. Our typical fee for this step number 2 is $3,000. So let's be conservative and say the part I will teach you is worth $1,800. Now, as I said, I'm not going to teach you to be an architect or a contractor, but I am going to teach you in the design and construction phase to understand this process, to understand the players. And once again, it's going to save you time and costly mistakes. So that's invaluable. So what is your investment in this course? So let's add up how much it's worth. Module 1, $300. Module 2, $2,100. Module 3, $1,800. Module 4 and 5, invaluable. So the total dollar value, let's say, is $4,200, plus the invaluable time and mistakes savings. But that is what I think it's worth. Let me ask you, what is it worth to you to get clear, to feel confident, and save money and time? So based on what we've been looking at, just this course alone should easily be valued at $4,200. But I know where you are, and that could be out of your reach. And my goal is to bridge this gap. So I'm not planning to sell the course at $4,200. This course has been priced at $1,297. That price is very low investment to get clear, feel confident, save time and money in one of the biggest pursuits of your life. So how do you sign up? Go to the link below this video and it will take you to this web page. Scroll down a little and you'll find this button, I want Office Design Bootcamp. And you click the button, I want Office Design Bootcamp. And that link will take you to this page. So you fill out your information and then you will check your email. And yes, check your spam. You know, these auto emails are filtered so often. But in this email, you'll find the link to bring you to a members login page. On this page, you'll create your unique login for access to the members area. Once you're logged in, you will find access to the CrossFields Office Design Bootcamp. This is your members area. So go ahead and start the welcome module and get prepared for this journey. I'm so excited to support you in this important journey, and it's going to elevate your success with the goal to save more lives. So welcome. So if you're still with me and you haven't signed up, my suspicion is you have questions. So we have unanswered questions, and here's the most common ones. So we'll just address those now. Number 1, I've been through your class at my school. So how is this different? So I'm glad you've been through the class, and that class is a lot of this information, but it's only 60 to 90 minutes, and it's overview of the information I teach in this course. This boot camp has allowed me to go deeper in the knowledge you're going to need. It's 8+ hours of teaching and tools that will make you successful. So I'm excited to share that with you. Question number 2, when should I start the course? So 18 months before you open is ideal. This was created preferably to be completed during the vision phase, so you'll be fully prepared to understand each phase as you get there. But if you're past that, it's not too late. Anywhere in the journey, even after you've found your space and have a space plan. But ideally, you're going to get the most value if it's before you've signed that lease and the full design phase has started. If you're already there, the information is still going to be extremely helpful to you, and you can make decisions more smoothly going forward, and there is still a tremendous amount of value. So it's hard to go back and fix mistakes. So if you're at the point where you have not signed your lease yet, that is ideal. And last, what if you'd like to work with CrossFields one-on-one? So if you want to consider working with CrossFields one-on-one, you go to our website, crossfieldsdesign.com, and you sign up for our complimentary consultation, and you'll have the opportunity to discuss your specific project with one of our team members. But just so you know, our fees are calculated hourly based on historic documentation of what we take our clients through. So if you've successfully completed this course and you've completed a part of our work, especially in Module 2 and into Module 3, I feel confident in saying that our fees are going to be less because you've already done part of that work, and we're going to incorporate your work and knowledge into the completion of your plans. So let's go back to where we were. Once again, for this course, I ask, what is it worth to you to get clear, feel confident, and save money and time? And we discussed this course should easily be valued at $4,200. And I'm selling it for $12.97 to the general public. So for those of you that decided this is the place for you, welcome. We're excited. And for those of you that are still considering, I have a few things for you to remember. First, you know that a quality office environment is important, and now you know what that really means. And I wonder if you're prepared. Second, you know it's a big undertaking, and you want to make the best decisions possible. Do you know that you will? And you want to be wise, and you want to avoid costly mistakes. So you do want to be successful in this journey to bring your vision to life. So I ask you, why would you not use this valuable resource? I do hope you join us, and I want to see you be successful. Thank you for this time in these 3 e-courses. I hope it's been so valuable to you and you've gained so much knowledge, because I really do want to see you be successful. And I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.